right, so good morning and welcome back to STEM It Yourself. We have an awesome speaker today, Dr. Danielle Twum. She hails from Ghana, West Africa, and received her Bachelor of Arts in Biology from Vassar College, where she studied the effects of climate change on coral bleaching. Danielle received her PhD in Cancer Immunology from the University of Buffalo, where she studied the immunology of breast cancer metastasis. She currently works as a Molecular Science Liaison at Caris Life Sciences. Dr. Twum is a AAAS IF Fellow or Ambassador like myself, and it's an initiative aimed at increasing the visibility of women in STEM as role models for young girls. So without further ado, ladies, if we can give her a big welcome to STEM It Yourself. Let's give her that big virtual welcome. And now I'm going to pass things off to you.
Hi, yes, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but I think I've solved it.
Okay, no worries.
Aha,
yes, there you are.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Danielle Twum. Thank you so much for having me today. As Siobhan was saying, I am in California, so it is a bit early, but the sun's already out, so that makes me excited. That's going to be a beautiful day. And so I'm just going to share my screen, and I just want this to be conversational. You know, feel free to stop me and ask me any questions at whatever point. And this is not going to be formal at all. This is going to just be me talking to you about my journey, and I'm going to sneak in something small at the end. I hope you like it. Let's see, let me share my screen. Here we go. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, so pop quiz. What does this number mean? Can anybody take a random guess? 7,664. And I'm gonna give you a hint. Dr. Siobhan said something about where I'm from. So with that little tidbit, what does anybody think this number means? Take a wild guess. Oh wait, you're muted.
Yeah, Morgan.
Oh, I said I have no idea.
Anyone else want to take a wild guess as to what this number means? 7,664. I'm gonna give you a little hint. Distance. No takers. No takers. Going once, twice. All right. This is. Here we go. I'm having problems. Here it is. This is how far away my home country is from the United States. Actually, far away from where I am currently. I use Google Maps to calculate the number of miles. Ghana, which is where I'm from, is from Sunnyvale, California, where I'm at. That is a lot of miles. So just as a fun fact about me. And so as Dr. Grady was saying, my name is Dr. Danielle Twum. My favorite animal is a dolphin because dolphins are really, really smart and they can learn things. You can actually teach a dolphin how to do things. And they are very much reward oriented. So they're very much like me. If I'm gonna get something nice and delicious, I like doing things. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And my current job is a molecular science liaison. And later on, I'll let you know exactly what that means. It's not complicated at all. And so as I was saying, I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa. Hands up if you've ever heard of Ghana. You can use the thumbs up button or sweet. What have you heard about Ghana, if you don't mind sharing?
I haven't heard a lot. I just know that it's an actual place.
Any other additions? Let's see if you've heard of Ghana. Is awesome. I don't know. I might be a little biased, but yes, I'm from Ghana. Has anyone been to Africa?
My teacher's from Ghana as well. My
No way!
social studies teacher.
Oh, that's so cool. Tell her I said hi. She doesn't know me, but tell her I said hi. Wait, there's something in the comment. Is it a chat? Let's see. Oh, yes. And yeah, if you do plan to, oh no, not yet. Don't go to the next screen. But yeah, if you do plan to travel, once the world is a little safer and things are less crazy, put Ghana on your travel list because the food is delicious, the people are amazing, and there's so much history to be learned about us as as Black people from Ghana.
Dr. Twum,
Yeah.
question, who has the best jollof rice? Is it Nigeria or is it Ghana? That is my question.
Something, the fact that you have me here and you're asking me this question is telling me you want
I
to
know,
fight
right?
with me, and I don't know why you want to fight with me so early in the morning. Nigerian jollof sucks. You can quote me, ladies. Take this back. If you don't get anything out of this talk, Ghana jollof is the best. Nigerian jollof sucks. Period. End of conversation. That's all I have to say on the issue. That's it. I love Nigerians. The jollof is great. It's terrible. Actually, no, that's a lie. Some of my super close friends are from Nigeria, so we don't talk jollof when we meet. We just, but yeah, I'm from Ghana. As I was saying here, Ghana is, I always think of Africa as somebody's head, and Ghana is in the back of it, right here by the ocean. And so we have very beautiful beaches. And when I was a child, this is me at 11 years old, actually, and this is me at 1, this picture right here, I really loved jumpsuits. I still love jumpsuits. Dr. Grady will let you know, I always in a jumpsuit if I can. And when I was 11, I actually thought I wanted to be a lawyer because I loved talking. I mean, as you can tell, I love talking. But I really, really love talking. And so I had glasses and I was like, yeah, this is totally what a lawyer looks like. I'm going to become a lawyer. And then I realized that I actually liked science, and I didn't understand how you can take science and law and put it together, because I was really young. I didn't know that there was so many opportunities in the world out there to combine that. And so this is me at 16 years old, and this is when I went to high school. The fun fact about Ghana is that senior high school is actually boarding school. Has anybody seen Harry Potter? Yeah. So just like Hogwarts, you would go to school, your parents would just leave you there, and you'd be there for 3 months with people your age, people. So my high school was it was a 3-year program. And so we had uniforms. This outfit I have is one of the uniforms that I wore. We were required to keep our hair short, which is why I'm very comfortable with my hair short, as opposed to long hair. And senior high school was really weird because when I went in as a science student. So because at that point, I thought I wanted to become a medical doctor, because immigrant parents, like my parents, they have very high expectations. You can either be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a failure. And so I thought I had no other choice but to become a medical doctor. And because I went in on the science track, it was a science focused program. So you took a lot of core lessons like English, math, as you're taking right now, social studies. And then you took science focused programs. So biology, physics, and chemistry. And honestly, this is how I feel about those subjects, even till today. I love biology. I love physics from afar, but that's because physics makes the world make sense. And who doesn't like rockets? I mean, physics and rockets, it's amazing. But chemistry was interesting because chemistry helps you understand why food tastes good. And I love food. So anything that makes food taste good and helps food make sense is what I really, really loved about chemistry. And I don't know, you're not at that point yet, right? No, they're not. Is anybody taking chemistry? No, right? You're just taking general science, right? So has anything been taught in science that you've been like, whoa, that's cool? Or nah, not yet?
I actually learned about I forgot. We're learning right now. We're learning about H2O and all the like of the elements and
Yeah.
the elements, and like when he taught us that, I'm like, oh my gosh! Like he went more further in it, like what my science teacher would do, like in 7th grade, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this is so new to me.
Yeah, so you're in the chemistry portion because H2O, water, which is one of my favorite things. Alcohol, I believe, is ETOH2 or ETOH, one of them. I haven't done chemistry in a long time. But yeah, is there anybody else want to share what they're learning in science that has made them go like, oh my gosh, science? No? Yeah, we have a hand raised.
We're talking about the water cycle.
What are you learning about the water cycle?
Well, we're learning how it goes to step 1 all the way to step 4.
What is your favorite step?
I think step 2 because that's the one I can remember.
What happens in step 2?
Well, the gas turns into water.
Perfect. And you can see that happening in real life if you take, let's say, a glass and then you just breathe on it, you'll see water droplets, and that's gas turning into liquid right there, step 2 of the water cycle. So if you ever wanted to test that, just breathe on a glass and you will see that happen. But thank you for sharing. As you can see, science is everywhere. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about boarding school. I know that y'all are not in boarding school. Y'all don't have to deal with that. You might have to deal with this later in college. But boarding school was really tough for me because I had trouble fitting in when I was 16. I thought I was going through a lot of changes, and there were so many of us in one place. First time I'm away from home. And so I used to miss my family a lot. But the thing about boarding school I loved is that it taught me how to be independent, and it taught me how to grow because I didn't have my parents there all the time. So I had to learn to make decisions on my own, which was great later on when it came to college. So later on, if you ever have a chance to go to boarding school, I don't know if that's an option, but if it is, you will come away with a lot of lessons that are potentially going to help you later on in the future. And so after high school, I actually moved to the United States, and here you can see my little pin on my world map here. I moved to the US, and then I went to Vassar College, as Dr. Grady was saying. Has anybody been to New York or New York City? No?
My family lives there.
Your family lives in New York City or in New York State?
New York City. My aunt from my grandma's side, she
Yeah.
lives in New York.
Have you been?
No, I'm
No.
not. I never been on a plane.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? You're in for a great time when you finally do. Being on a plane for the first time is unlike anything I can ever describe to you. Where would you like to go for your first plane ride?
I actually want to go. I was thinking about. I wanted to visit like Russia because Russia would be like one of my main points to go to because I heard so much about Russia, and then I wanted to do I wanted to go to LA afterwards because Russia was like they said Russia is a cold place. I'm like I want to go there because it feels like you can do more study on Russia than you do on than you're doing other countries.
Wow. Wow. That is quite the trip, actually. Yeah. So I have a friend who's been to Russia. She actually was in Russia for about a month, and she said she had a wonderful time. But she went in the summer. So that's different from going in the winter time. But I would suggest, since you're in the US, that your first trip be to LA because LA is a solid city. It's a very fun city. And there's so much good food, and the vibes are amazing in LA. So start with LA and then go to Russia. Or you could just go to Russia. Heck, why not? Just go to Russia. It's amazing. Anybody else want to share if they've been to New York City or where they want to go on a plane ride? I know right now we can't go anywhere, but yeah, Morgan.
I would want to go to Switzerland, honestly. I don't know why.
You don't know why? Is it because of the chocolate?
In the winter. It's really pretty in the winter time. Or I would want to go to probably LA. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to LA. Or New York City.
I can speak for LA and I can speak for New York City. Amazing cities. I haven't been to Switzerland, but it is on my travel list. Yes, ma'am. You have your hand up. I can't see your name for some reason. What's your name, please?
My name's Kendall.
Kendall. Thanks, Kendall. Where would you like to go?
I would like to go to Paris or to Hollywood
Or Hollywood. So we have three. So Hollywood's in LA. Paris, yes. Why do you want to go to Paris?
because I watched this show about people going to Paris.
Emily
And it
in
looks,
Paris? Was it Emily in Paris? Was it that show?
no,
Oh, okay.
it's on Netflix. And it said that you could get macaroons there. You can sit on the Eiffel Tower. It looks really fun.
Yeah. Do you have plans to learn French?
Yes, when I get older, because my mom actually took French class, so I want to do that too.
Awesome. You should totally learn French and then come back and speak it with me. Because I can speak French. So you should totally learn French. And if you learn French, going through Paris will be so much more fun for you, honestly. And you will get all the nice macaroons you want and the delicious croissants. Oh, don't get me started on the croissants. But yes, those are solid travel ideas. But yeah, so at Vassar, when I went to college, for me, going to college, and I know college seems so far away, but I wanted a small school because I knew myself and I knew I don't thrive in big classrooms. And right now, y'all don't have to deal with that. Is anybody going in person to school, or all of y'all are studying from? Kendall is going in person. Okay. Is everybody else studying from home?
I go in person. I do hybrid.
I go in person, but I go a week. Yesterday was my week in school. Then today is next week would be my week online.
Okay. How are you liking that?
It's cool. Like I can say it's more of like yesterday I was the only one in my reading class, in my math class, I mean. And reading class, it was only 3 people. It was like only 2 people. And in my other class, it was not much people. It was only 2 people in my art class, because you do B week and A week. And like, for example, I go to another I go to PE on A week, and then on A day, and then on B week I go to art. It's good. But school school is like more of like a what's what's confusing a little. It has its pros and cons, but it's like it's good at the same time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And hopefully by the time y'all are ready to go to college, we would have defeated this horrible pandemic, and you'll have to think about what kind of class sizes you thrive in. So me, for instance, I don't like big schools. I think big class sizes are very confusing for me. There's too many people for me to talk to, and then I won't get anything done. So I wanted a small college that has small class sizes where I wouldn't have too many people to distract me and I'd be able to focus. But others also, my best friend, she went to UCLA, which is the University of California in LA, which I know a lot of y'all want to visit. UCLA has giant classes and she thrives in that kind of environment. So when it comes time for you to go to college, you have to think about all of that. But right now, not yet. Don't worry about that. But at Vassar, back to college, at Vassar, I thought I wanted to become a medical doctor, like I was telling you. And I want y'all to write down this quote and take it with you at any point in your life. When in doubt, choose change. Because it's really easy to have this idea of where you want to go and what you want to be. And then something might happen to change your mind. And then you're so worried because that was not your original plan, right? And so I want y'all to write this quote down. And I don't know when it will be useful to you at any point, but it will be useful. Because I, in college, thought I wanted to become a medical doctor. And then I took a class with a professor. And that class changed my entire life. Think about it. Up until this point, which is like for almost 18 years of my life, I thought I wanted to become a medical doctor. And then I take one class and all of a sudden I'm doubting myself. And I'm very worried because I don't know how my parents are going to take it. But what this class did for me is it introduced me to the concept of research. Has anybody seen Finding Nemo? If I ask you to tell me, where did Nemo live? Can you tell me? Kendall.
Didn't he live beside this little flower thing?
Yes, it was a flower thing. Do you remember what it was called? He couldn't pronounce it.
I don't know. All I know that he was a clownfish.
Does anybody want to try? Does anybody know where Nemo lived? He couldn't pronounce it. That should give you a little hint. Anybody? Anybody? No? Shaking your heads. Let me see if I can remember how he mentioned it. He said an anemone. Does anybody remember that? Yes, the flowery thing. So the correct word is anemone. And does everybody know what a coral reef is? Yes. And everybody knows how colorful coral reefs are, right? So do you know that corals are actually a plant and an animal at the same time? Yeah, good face. Yes. Corals are a plant and an animal. So the flower, the flowery portion of it, that's the animal. But the color, you know how corals have different colors, yellow, orange, purple? Those are plants. They're little round plants that live in the corals and give them color. And, I know all of you know about climate change and global warming. What's happening in the oceans is that for some reason, the relationship between the plant and the animal is falling apart and the plant is leaving the animal. So what we're finding in the oceans are corals that instead of them being colorful and bright, they're white and bleached. That's what we're calling coral bleaching. And it's a very awful phenomenon because when the corals bleach, you don't have a lot of fish coming to corals. So think of your favorite restaurant before the pandemic, where you used to go with your friends, your family, everybody used to gather together. Think of that. And then think of how that restaurant has closed down during the pandemic. That is what coral bleaching is to the ocean. The corals are a place where fish come and hang out, interact. And when the corals bleach, they close down and fish don't come to interact. And what that does is that it leads to a chain reaction that affects the number of fish we have in the ocean. It affects the amount of waste the ocean is able to clean. And we as humans suffer because there is not enough food in the ocean for us. That is one of the crazier effects of climate change. And what I was studying in college was how to prevent the coral reef from shutting down. That's what I was studying. How to prevent the plant from leaving the animal so that, the entire coral doesn't shut down. And that was when I was exposed to something called research. Has anybody heard of research as scientific research? I'm sure you've heard it all over the news. Can you share what you think scientific research is?
They search scientific research. It's like they search for scientific problems. Like I can't explain it. It's
No.
like a problem. Like let's say for example, like cancer. That's a scientific problem. How can we cure cancer? Or
Yeah.
Tumors. How can we stop tumors? Or
do you want to take my job? I will let you take my job.
Or like photosynthesis.
That was perfect. That was a perfect answer. Scientific research is figuring out scientific problems. That's it. Because there's so many questions that we need to understand about how things work. And that's what scientific research is. It's not anything crazy. It's like, how does this work? Okay, here is what we can do to understand how it works. And I was exposed to scientific research in college. There are a lot of programs actually that can expose you to research even as early as high school, right, Dr. Grady? I'm sure about that. Yeah.
Absolutely, you're 100% correct. There are programs. I know that we have programs here. Have you all heard of MSEN in your schools? I don't know, Patty, Dr. Patty, you might have heard about it. I don't know if it's in high school or middle school that they can do MSEN or Upward Bound. There's a lot of programs that you all can do once you get to high school.
Mm-hmm. And being exposed to research at such an early stage is actually really great for you, because it's not just you use it for science, because you use the problem solving abilities you develop in every aspect of your life. Honestly, I grocery shop using the scientific method, and it has saved me a lot of money because I think about it. I said, what is my question? My question is, what am I eating for dinner every night this week? Okay, so I'm planning to eat pasta and I'm planning to eat Guinean jollof. Okay, so what do I need to buy? This is what I need to buy. And when do I need to buy it to make sure it doesn't go bad, and eat it before the week ends? That is a problem solving ability that I've developed from science. And the thing I really would like to disabuse you of is that when you do science, you're a square and you can't ever use it. Science is in everything. Science is in how your shower works. Science is in why your body even wakes up in the morning. Science is in why the sun rises and the sun sets. And science is why you can even see colors of things. And so there's science in everything. And the whole point, I think, of scientists is to understand the why and sometimes to make it better. So I don't know your name, ma'am. The lady who was telling us about the tumors. What's your name, please?
Jasmine?
Jasmine.
Jasmine, I'm sorry.
Jasmine? Is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Jasmine, you were talking about tumors. Our ability to understand tumors is actually going to help us cure them, right? So that people stop losing their loved ones to cancer. And that's what I eventually ended up doing. That was very interesting that you brought up cancer, because I went from studying corals to studying cancer. How did that happen? Well, I'm glad you asked. So one of the things that came out when I was in college was, I told you how the coral is an animal and a plant, right? So one of the things that came out was that the conversation the plant was having with the animal was falling apart, and they thought it was an immune response. And I'm sure everyone has heard everything about immune system this, immune system that, because of the pandemic. And what that research exposed me to was the immune system. I didn't know anything about the immune system. And so I went and did a summer research experience right here. This picture right here of me in a lab coat. This is a million years ago. I won't tell you when, but this is me in a lab coat in college doing research at a cancer institute. And I was trying to understand, why does the body let cancer happen and how can we interrupt that? And I took that work and turned it into a graduate school thing. So I finished college and then I went to graduate school to get my PhD. And what I wanted to answer was, why does the body let cancer happen if we have an immune system? So that's what I was studying. So basically, I took my understanding of the immune system from coral reefs, and then I translated that into humans, because you'll find out that a lot of things in science remain the same. It's just the players are different, honestly. And so here's where life got a little fun for me. So when I was in graduate school, I found that I liked talking about science to different people from different backgrounds. And one of my friends challenged me to give a TEDx talk. Has anybody heard of TED Talks? Yeah, do you want to ever give one? Yes. What would your TED Talk be on?
Probably on something dealing with the medical field.
In the medical field? Anyone else would like to give a TED Talk at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. It depends on probably on head trauma or either or either trying to invent something like music therapy to the head. Like I actually was doing research on it, how to rely like get somebody like to remember the music to the point where it can be like a thing where it don't heal, but it's gradually getting their memory back as in a music form, like they're repeating the notes back to me while I play the notes.
That's amazing.
Timmy, can we get
You on your call, son?
That's fantastic. Yeah, there is, I'm speechless. No, seriously, Jasmine, that's amazing because there's a lot of research that says music is a very easy way to trigger happy memories, and it's also an easy way to trigger bad memories. And so there are people who are using music as a way to heal people. But I also want you to know that you can give a TED Talk on anything you want. Just a heads up. My dream is to give another TED Talk on hair, on Black hair specifically. Honestly, I would like to give a TED Talk on how Black hair is so cool, is so versatile, and can go from office to party. I have so many ideas that I really want to give.
Please do it. Please do it. I would love that.
Yeah, I really need to. I'm gonna apply next year, honestly. But you know, this quote I have right here. Does anybody here love public speaking? No, 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 no. You don't like it. Why don't you like it, Dr. Grady? Does anybody want to share why they don't like public speaking?
Well, I like public speaking, but when I don't have a script to go off of, I hate it because I need to have things organized, and I don't like going off of my brain because I know I'll mess up.
I
Yeah.
don't like public speaking at all because I just feel like I get too when I get up in front of people. It's just like it's like everybody's eyes are on me, like they make me nervous. Like that's why I refrain myself from being in big crowds, because big crowds make me nervous. Make me like when they cheer, I just want to fall out just right there, just saying I just don't get it.
Oh. Yes, Kendall.
I don't like it in general because a lot of people are judgmental, and we just walk out there, they make some kind of face like they don't like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anybody else want to share why they don't like public speaking? No? No takers? Yes, public speaking is not fun. But all your concerns are valid. Not having a script, people being judgmental and making faces, being nervous because of crowds. But what I've realized from public speaking, the little engagements I do here and there, and also from giving a TED Talk, is that the more you practice something, the easier it gets. I know people say this all the time, but think of a tennis player. Does everybody know Serena Williams? Does everybody know Serena Williams? She's been playing tennis since she was a child. She didn't wake up one morning and become the Serena Williams. She legitimately played tennis. I think she used to play 6 days a week. Now she's down to 5 because she doesn't need that. But yeah, she used to play tennis 6 days a week, so much growing up. And she knew that if she wanted to become the world #1, she had to put in work. And I know you hear all the time, practice makes perfect. Honestly, it does. I want you to challenge yourself to try something for a month. I actually just did that for the month of January, where I challenged myself to wake up every morning at 6 and work out before my workday started at 8. And when I started, I said, I hate this. You know what? I don't need to do this. But I needed to do this because if I started my day so structured, I realized that I spent my time properly throughout the day. So challenge yourself to try something. Maybe you want to learn the splits, or you want to learn maybe 10 words in a new language and you want to learn it very well. You'll realize that as you practice, it will come easier to you. And as you get better at it, it's easier to generate the enthusiasm you need to do for it. And of course, it's not going to be comfortable. And that's why I have this quote that great things never come from comfort zones. I can assure you that Serena woke up days and was like, I do not feel like playing tennis today. There were days, and you know what? I wake up sometimes being like, I don't want to work today. I just want to stay in bed. It's a cloudy day. I want to stay in bed with a cup of tea and a good book. But I have rent to pay. So I have rent to pay. There are so many things I need to study to make me a better scientist. And so I get up and I do it. And of course, I'm not comfortable. But when you do things out of your comfort zone, after a while, you actually stop being scared and you just get up and you do it. So when it comes to public speaking, I know you need a script, but I can assure you, Morgan, that it will get to a point in your life where you can just get up and just freestyle it. And you will be amazed at how good you've gotten. But you will have to practice. You're not gonna get up one morning and then freestyle. It's just not gonna come. Sometimes you have to actually, my teacher in college, my advisor, she told me she used to stand in front of the mirror and practice her talks 50 times. 50 times before she gave her talk. And she used to stand in front of the mirror. And also, if you don't want to look at people's faces, I always just look above their faces, or I find someone who is smiling at me, and then I just look at that person and I talk to the person the whole time. So that, they're smiling, they're encouraging me, and I don't feel stressed out. So those are just little tricks to get around public speaking. And honestly, I can't wait for all of y'all to become fantastic public speakers, but you have to practice. You have to practice, okay? So yeah, I gave a TED Talk, which was to a huge room of about 300, 400 people. My parents were in the audience, and I was very nervous because it was the first time they had ever seen me give a public speech. And my graduate school advisor was also in attendance, and I was very nervous. I might not look nervous to you, but I was super nervous. And if you want to find this video, actually, if you just type my name into YouTube, you will find it. But what this led me to was this extra life where I was a scientist, but I was also somebody who was involved in scientific communication, where I was talking about science to people from different backgrounds. And so right now, I've turned that scientist, public speaker, and turned it into a job right now, seriously. And what I do, does anybody know what this is? This is a clothing tag. Do you have a clothing tag on your current outfit? Let's see, I have one on mine. You want to look at your clothing tag if you can access it? No, you can't. But you've all seen clothing tags, right? They tell you how much, for instance, this one tells you how much cotton or polyester is in this actual outfit. It tells you whether you should iron it, whether you should wash it with cold water or hot water, whether you should hand wash it or machine wash it. The fun fact is cancer, tumors, they also have clothing tags, surprisingly. And you can find the clothing tag, you can find the tag of a cancer by using this thing called DNA sequencing. Does everybody know what DNA is? Has everybody heard what DNA is?
Yeah.
Jasmine, can you tell us what DNA is?
DNA is just like you get it from your parents. You get 40% from your mom. You get 40% from your dad. And the DNA that you get from your dad, y'all all share genetics. But sometimes kids get blue eyes if their parents have black eyes. They get blue eyes from their other relatives. It's not, y'all don't got the same fingerprints. But y'all got the same DNA, but not the same fingerprints, because everybody, we made with different fingerprints and different feet prints. If you say it as all.
Oh man, I can't wait for you to become a professor. Honestly, that was a fantastic explanation. Anybody else want to add on to what Jasmine said about DNA? No? So DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a mouthful, but DNA is the building block of life. And as Jasmine was saying, you get half from your mom, you get half from your dad. And when it comes to cancer, tumors also have their own DNA. And depending on the kind of cancer, you have the expression of, say, something that's cotton, right? And sometimes you have expression of something that's polyester or spandex. And cancers have that. So imagine you're wearing a shirt, right? And it's a multicolored shirt. And the shirt has different colors, but there's one color that's big. So imagine if I had this shirt and there was a big purple stripe here, and then there was like yellow, blue little squares over here. You can see it and tell me that, Dr. Twum, your shirt has a giant purple stripe and you have multicolors. And because of that, you should wash your clothing, this very multicolored clothing, with cold water so that the colors don't go away. Same thing with cancer. Tumors have different tags that if you use this thing called DNA sequencing, you can determine how to actually treat them. That is one of the ways you can treat a patient with cancer, is if you sequence their tumor and find out the tags that they have, and then you can take the right medicine and then cure them. So that is basically what I do right now, is I help doctors and their patients understand their cancers and the tags they have and how to better cure them. And so with that, I will take any questions you have that I didn't answer earlier in the talk. And then we will probably go for our break. Any questions? You can ask me anything. I will answer, honestly. Ask Dr. Grady.
Yes,
No.
don't be afraid to come off mute, ladies. I know Jasmine is comfortable, Morgan, Kendall, and Joanna. I know, Joanna, sometimes your microphone's not working, but you can type in the chat and she can still respond to you. So don't worry about that. But yes, feel free to ask her questions. She's here just for you. She's, like I said, in Cali, up early for you. So spend this time with her.
I got a question. Do you still do like working on the cancer, how to cure it? Or y'all still like, do y'all got any developments or anything that's like developed into soon get a treatment for cancer?
So I used to work in a lab, but right now I do not anymore. When I was in graduate school, I worked in a lab that tried to understand the conversation between, the immune system and cancer. Actually, I can send you a TikTok where I explain that. And right now, I do not do that. Right now, I work exclusively from home. I work remotely, and other people in the lab are doing the sequencing, and then I see the results, and then I help a doctor understand them. So I don't do the fun part anymore. I just sit behind a computer and read a report and be like, okay, this is what the patient has. So.
Where did you go to grad school?
I went to graduate. Oh, that's a good question. I went to grad school in a very cold place. Has anybody heard of Buffalo, New York? Buffalo? Anybody? Buffalo? You've heard it's cold, right? They're not lying. It's cold as hell. It is. I went to graduate school at the University of Buffalo, but I was training at a hospital. It's called Roswell Park Cancer Institute. And it was also, remember what I said about small schools? University at Buffalo is a big school. Roswell Park, the hospital, is a very small school. They have a very small graduate program. And so I went there for my graduate studies because I knew that I could only thrive in that kind of environment. And my Roswell Park only admits 5 students a year for graduate school. So I was very, very happy that they accepted my application and let me go do my PhD there. And grad school took 6.5 years, if you're about to ask that. So yeah, fun times. But they pay you to go to graduate school, so think about that.
Where did you go to elementary school at?
I went to elementary school in Ghana. Yeah, in my home country of Ghana. And I started wearing glasses in 6th grade, if I remember that. that's one of the few memories I have that I couldn't see the board. And I remember being just sitting there and squinting the whole time. And I realized I needed glasses. So at that time, contacts weren't a thing. But now I'm too old to wear. Contacts feel weird on my eyes, but I like glasses better. Yeah. Great question. Wait, are you in elementary school, Morgan? Wait, that's not Morgan, sorry. That's Kendall.
I'm in 5th grade.
You're in 5th grade? Do you like it?
Yes.
5th grade was fun. 5th grade is very fun. Do you have a favorite subject?
Science and math.
Oh, there's so much feedback. Science and math. Yeah, those are gonna come in handy forever. And that's what I keep saying. Science and math will forever come in handy. So those are actually solid answers. Interestingly, you do have an immune system in your digestive system. Fun fact. Has anybody heard of bacteria? What are bacteria?
Bacteria is like these little thingies that go like inside your body, and if you don't take care of it well, if you're sick, bacteria comes.
It's like germs.
If you don't wash your hands.
If I told you that you are more bacteria than human,
Oh my God.
what would you say about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you be?
I think it'll probably be I stay away from people.
No,
well, there is good bacteria. So
there we go.
Yeah,
there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria.
There we go. Yeah. So perfect. So yes, there are good bacteria, and you have a huge host of them in your stomach that actually help protect you against diseases. Because think of the food you eat. You might think it's clean, but between taking the food from the plate and moving it to your mouth, do you see all this air right here? Any bacteria, anything that's terrible in there will be on your food before you put it in your mouth. And because of that, your mouth is also full of interesting bacteria. And so by the time everything goes on into your stomach, there is a whole party going on. And you have good bacteria that actually help control bad bacteria in your stomach. And we have over 1 trillion bacteria cells in our bodies, and we have 1 billion human cells. So you are more bacteria than human, and let that always humble you. Always. But when it comes to the immune system, we are talking about the bacteria and viruses that make us sick. Everybody knows about COVID. Unfortunately, it is ravaging the world, and that's why scientists are racing very hard to develop a vaccine, which they have, which is amazing. But why would they even develop a vaccine? Like, why would they even do that? So you were, I think Jasmine was saying something about how we fight back. Like, how does our immune system fight back? You were talking something about blood counts. And today I've just simplified it because there are 3 main concepts. There are 3 main ways your body actually fights against viruses or getting sick. And these, I'm going to introduce 3 cells to you. So before I do that, is anybody a right-handed person here? Is anybody a left-handed person? No? Okay, so yay, hi Kendall. So if you're right-handed, right, and you're carrying something heavy, do you just try to only use your right hand, or sometimes you have your left hand help you?
I use both. Because
I only use my right hand. I can't use my left hand for anything.
You can't use your left hand at all.
I meant to raise up my right hand.
My left hand is more weaker than my right. My left hand is weak. It feels like it's weak, and then my right hand is like more of a. It's like full of strength. It's weird.
You need it. So you should train your left hand because it's connected to another part of your brain. So try as much as possible to do things with your left hand. You don't want to be just right dominant. But the immune system, yeah, your left hand is connected to another part of your brain. So if you train your left hand, you're training another part of your brain. Fun fact.
I use my right hand to write, but I use my left hand to like do tricks and stuff.
Oh, sweet. You should film yourself doing tricks and let us see it. I want to see it.
Okay.
But the immune system, actually, if you think about it, has anybody eaten a chicken bone before? Have you ever opened up a chicken bone before? Like
yes.
You don't bite it. What is in there?
The meat.
No, in the chicken bone, in the bone, there's meat in the bone.
Oh no, not in the bone. I forgot what it is.
It starts with an M and it ends with a W.
Marrow.
There you go. So your bone marrow is actually where your immune system lives. If you think about you as a human, you have bone marrow all over because we have a skeleton, right? Your immune system lives and starts from your bone marrow, and then it travels from your bone marrow and goes to other parts of your body. And the immune system can actually be broken up into two. Remember I was talking about if you're a right-handed person, if you can't lift something, you use your left hand. Well, you have the innate immune system, and then you have the adaptive immune system. Your innate immune system, if you're right, because I'm right-handed, it's your first defense. So if anything is trying to make you sick, your innate immune system jumps into it. And then if the innate immune system can't handle it, that's when if you're right-handed, your left hand, the adaptive immune system comes and helps you deal with it. I'm going to introduce you to one cell in the innate immune system and then two cells in the adaptive immune system. And so right here, one way that the immune system can actually fight bacteria or viruses is actually by eating it. It's actually that simple. What your body does, it creates these cells. They're called macrophages, and their name literally means big eater, macrophage. It eats things. It just likes to eat bacteria. And what it does is it eats it, and then it has all these chemicals in it that just tears apart and then discards it. So that's one way. And the macrophage is part of your innate immune system, the first defense. And then another way is you can actually cover viruses or bacteria in antibodies. I'm sure you all have heard about it with the COVID vaccine, talking about antibodies this, antibodies that. Antibodies are literally, they look like arrows. And these cells called B cells, or you can call them buddies, I just call them buddies, they create these arrows, they create these antibodies. And what these antibodies do is that if there is a bacteria or a virus, they can actually surround it. And by surrounding it, they send signals to each other, and then it tears apart the bacteria or virus. It's that simple. And then lastly, you have a T cell, or Captain T, as I like to call it. And T cells can do this really cool thing where they create these hole punchers. Everybody knows what a hole puncher is, right? You've used a hole puncher. Yeah, T cells create these things called perforants, or hole punchers, and punch holes in bacteria or viruses. And what that does is it allows, imagine if somebody punched you, if you have a piece of paper and you punch holes in it and you put it in water, what happens? The water goes into the piece of paper and then it gets wet and the paper disintegrates. Same thing with bacteria and viruses. If you punch a hole in them, they absorb whatever is going on around them and then they fall apart. So if you're going to take anything from this conversation we've had today, is that the immune system fights back in three main ways. It can eat a bacteria or virus, it can use arrows to kill them, and then it can also poke holes in them to get rid of them, which makes sure that bacteria or viruses don't come into your body. So if you're ever feeling great, if you're not sick, if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling good, you should thank your immune system for that. And I will take any questions you might have. This is a picture of me from the lab, and this is a picture of me when I was 10 or 9. So I will take any questions. Oh, thank you.
I will say you did an absolutely amazing job. I just want to thank you again, Dr. Twum, for your time and just your eloquent way of just sharing your journey and sharing everything. It was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you, ladies? Come off mute and tell Dr. Twum your thoughts.
I liked today's session.
I like today's lesson.
I loved it. Actually, it actually sparked something in me that I'm probably gonna go through it of doing probably being a scientist or learning about the music therapy with head trauma.
That's
I was
awesome.
gonna say, if I had you for a science teacher, I probably would have been a scientist.
Patty, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. And if y'all are on social media, you feel free to follow me and ask me any questions, or if you have, just
Yeah,
reach
you
out.
heard she said TikTok. She also has a statue of her as well. She's another one of the amazing ladies that I've brought on. So she has a statue as well. She's on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
She's on everything. And she's done something else that's really cool. You didn't talk about it, but even outside of her being a scientist, you know, she does things like this often. And she's also a part of initiatives called Stemming While Black and Black in Cancer, where she's highlighting the amazing work that Black scientists do. So I just wanted to share that part too with you ladies. She's always doing outreach and helping in all the ways.
You're too sweet. Thank you very much.
No, these are just facts. So I just wanted to share that piece with you too. But we really thank you so much for your time. We'd love to have you back. And if you want to share your presentation, you can. I've loved how you put everything together. We can put that on the website too. And the video will be posted later. And that's it. So thank you again.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Oh, and I put my my handle on Instagram over there in the chat. So if you want to follow me, if you want to ask me questions, please feel free to reach out. And if you ever want to email me, here is my email. I check this email every day. So I have my email also in the chat. Just feel free to reach out if you have any questions about science, what to do, how to do it. And if you just want to vent, I can also listen to you too. So awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. See you.
You.
Bye-bye.